respected elders and brothers and sisters. I think it's a very big privilege for me to be standing in front of all of you all and talking about the days we spent with Swami and our journey with Swami. Now, I just spent 2 years at Swami's feet, and it's been 25 years after that, or 26 years after that with him, and I would say it's been an absolutely fantastic journey, a transformative journey, and a journey, I would say, just full of love, in love, with love, and the way Swami held your hand and carried you through this journey, it's been very, very beautiful and very, very fortunate. Before I start there, I'd like to thank and appreciate the good work done by Team Samarpan. This is the 45th Samarpan session they are having, and we really must really appreciate the good work they've done in putting this all together, and the perseverance, and how the message of Swami has gone out across the world to different countries. The last time I met them, they were telling me that most of the viewings are from overseas, from Japan, from US, from a lot of other places. So this message of Swami and these experiences of Swami go all over the world. I think that really has to be appreciated by the team. I really don't know where to start. But what I would say is, the one thing you experience while being in Bhakti or while living with Swami is the relationship that builds up with Swami. And we heard Swami a lot of times talk about the relationship between Krishna and the gopis, and the way the gopis lost themselves in Krishna's love and splendor. They just lost their body consciousness and they were completely in love with him. And that relationship was one which the boys experienced with him, and I was fortunate to be one of them. So when Swami says, my boys, it was the same gopis in the Krishna avatar, and the love and the joys that he took them through. I'll try and recreate some of that as we go through this discussion or this talk. I'd first like to bring how I came to Swami. It was a complete, if in 1997 you had met me and said, oh, I'm going to be studying in Swami's institution, it would have been impossible. My mother sitting there and she's nodding her head and saying, I was a tough nut to crack, doing my engineering, said I'm going to the US for an MBA, and I don't want anything to do with these kind of things. Right? And Swami performed my brother and Bobby's wedding in 98. It was November 3rd. After the wedding, the family gets called in, and Swami talks to the family. And so everybody went in after the wedding, and Swami said, come in. But they sent a message that I should come. And I sent a message to the volunteer, tell them I'm fine, I'm not interested. Then they can sit over there. Again, there was a second message that came, Baba wants you to come. So reluctantly I went in, and I saw everybody was seated very comfortably. So this was not the main interview room in Vrindavan, but the other one on the right hand side. And Swami was sitting on his chair, the whole family was sitting down, and there was a chair in front of Swami. Swami says, sit there. I said, no, I'll sit with everybody. He says, no, I want you to sit there. Okay? And what started there was an hour and 20 minutes of man-to-man discussion in a worldly way, very much rationalizing some what are your plans. I'm from the US for an MBA. And he started a soft tape persuading me, look, the MBA in the US is not applicable to India and various different things. An hour and 20 minutes went on. And however hard you are with Swami's presence, you're going to melt. And as I went to the last points of the discussion, Swami said, you have so many friends and so much time for your friends, and you spend all the time out with them. You remember your blue diary? Hundreds of numbers and hundreds of friends. You spend so much time with your friends. Thoda time Swami ke saath bhi spend kar sakta. And that really melted me, and everybody was happy, and I went to Swami's Namaskar, said, yes, I'll join Bhakti. He said, you'll have to get the MBA. I said, of course, I'll get the entrance exam. time. But that was really the starting of what I'd say. There was 3rd November 1988. And that was the starting of a journey which I would say, the humility with which Swami approached this whole thing. I cannot imagine God coming down to earth in a humble way, such a humble way, asking. That was one big lesson for me, the humility of God, who's got every aspect of element of nature in his control, comes down with and teaches us. And that was a huge, huge teaching to begin with. I would say lesson number 1, loving the Swami. I came, a lot happened in those 8 months till I joined the college, but I won't go into that. And as I came in, I was still a tough nut to crack. So I wouldn't believe what he said. I kept questioning everything. Why are these boys sitting over here and wasting their time? It's very low productivity of use of time. They have to do the right things. And I kept questioning every aspect of the institution that Swami had built, obviously not understanding who I'm dealing with and what was the purpose and what the meaning. So it was slow learning as you go through it. I remember my father had told me once, many years, he was a great soul. He passed away earlier this year, but he told me, with a true heart, God has to agree. So he had said, Sache Dil Se Sahib Razi. And then one day I said, look, I'm sitting here, he's not talked to me in a month. I need him to talk to me. So, okay, look, this is the purest my heart can get, and I'm saying he has to talk to me. And I was sitting right at the edge. And I said, he has to talk to me, otherwise what my father said is false. And Swami passed me, and he looked at me, I had a letter in my hand. He looked at me, but he didn't talk to me. And he walked away. And I turned my head and I said, what my father said is untrue. And the next thing I noticed is Swami has turned and come and stood again in front of me and started talking. And that's when, he waited for you to break the old paradigm and said, that is not true. And those are another beautiful experience that I went through, which was another difficult experience as well. So, somewhere 4 or 5 months after joining, I was going through a tough time. And there was, in your rooms you didn't have fans. It was a tough life. Right? There were no fans, difficult conditions, mosquitoes. Both my feet had got infected very badly. I couldn't stand, I couldn't walk. And there were issues with the doctors, it was not working out. So I was sitting in the hospital for 2 days, and then one evening, there used to be bhajans between 6 and 6:30. One evening I decided, I'm done with this place. I'm leaving. I'm gone. Okay, I can't take this Baba thing anymore. They say love of 1,000 mothers. I don't believe that. Okay? And I said, if I was in Bombay, my mother would have arranged one doctor to come and attend to me. And they say, love of 1,000 mothers. He's sitting on his throne. He's not bothered. He doesn't care about me. I'm in so much pain. What I heard and what I saw that evening was at 6:10 he gets up from his throne. In the middle of bhajans, he comes down from his seat and he asks for me. And they say, oh, he's not well, he's in the hospital. Then he calls the warden, he calls the other boys, where is he? There was all scrambling around. Then he calls 2 doctors. And there's Dr. Alveja and Dr. Chari. And he tells both the doctors, you both go to the hospital. So the doctor is saying, Swami, one of us is enough. I want to know both of you go and take my personal car and go. Then he calls the vice chancellor, he calls the registrar, he calls the control of examinations. All of you go, my boy is not well. He needs your attention. 6:30 the bhajans get over, 6:45 then comes the hostel. By 6:20 there are 2 doctors who first come and clean my feet of all the pus and the infection, attend to me, and the doctor saying, I don't know at this stage why Swami is dragging me so hard. And he has to send 2 of us. I never understand why. And Swami wanted to tell me, your mother could arrange 1 doctor, I arranged 2. Anyway, what happened that night was again something interesting, because all of a sudden this happens. Then at night, I was lying down thinking about it, and a big mosquito, some insect came and bit me in the eye. My eye got swollen up, and it was all fuzzy. So anyway, I had to go to the doctor the next day, so they took me to the doctor in the hospital. And they went to the eye doctor as well as the general physician. And went to the eye doctor, and the doctor looks at my eye. It this big, only a slit open like a big golf ball. And the doctor says, she put some medicine and says, please go and tell Swami in the evening. I said, sure. So in the evening, Chandra Swami came and he just kept staring at me for 3-4 minutes. He just kept looking down at me and I kept looking up at him for 3 or 4 minutes. And after 3 minutes of looking at me, he asked, how are you? I said, I'm fine, Swami. I really didn't know what the protocol was. I was still new to the place. So I just kind of assumed, look, I'm fine. I mean, you sent the doctors yesterday, they attended to me. I'm fine today. And I forgot to tell him about the eye. Anyway, I went back, my eye looked better. And the doctors had come back next day. So I went back next day to the hospital. And the eye doctor, the lady was waiting for me. She said, no, where are you? I'm waiting for you. I said, yeah, I'm just coming. She says, what happened? So I said, oh, I went and sat in the front and Swami asked, how are you? And that's it. Nothing else. He didn't tell me anything. She said, okay. Thank God, sign down. I said, why are you saying that? He said, you had lost your eye. He gave it back to you. I did not tell you yet. That is what happened. So it was a series of 24 hours where, the slow process of indoctrination, showing you who he is, what he's doing, his love, that slowly, it's a slow journey. Believe me, it takes, at least for me, it was a tough and slow journey because I started from a point where I did not believe the whole thing. And then, as we kept going on with this journey, and then one day I was sitting with Swami and asked Swami, how can I have more faith? And Swami just nudged it, saying, don't worry, think of me, I'll take care of you. And those are obviously very, very deep words, but then I'll fast forward. So there was a point where he was going to take us to Uti and Kodaikanal. And we sat, that morning when we were going to leave for Uti, it was first Uti and then Kodaikanal, there were a lot of things happening that run up. But at something like 6 a.m., he calls us boys who are supposed to go to Uti, and he says, I want a mechanic. So everybody looked at me because I used to fiddle around with cars and could never repair it, but they would fiddle around with cars. He said, I want a mechanic. So everybody looks at me. So Swami said, you? Okay, you go in the car. Okay? So there were 2 cars, Swami's car, ADA 90, the silver Mercedes, and a Maruti ST. And there was a bus, and we were all supposed to go together. He said, you sit in the car and go. The bus was to go direct to Uti hotels, and the 2 cars were supposed to go through Bangalore city there. And in that journey again, there were incidents where you're tired, you got up at 4 a.m., you're sleeping, and the Swami looks out and says, Dunda Pota, you're sleeping when you're going with God. So, I mean, a lot of these small incidents happened till we reached the foothills, and Radha Krishna was driving Swami's car. And then at one point we stopped, and Radha Krishna says, comes and tells me, there's a problem, Swami's car has a problem. So I said, really, what's the problem? So we go have a look at it, and Swami gets into the car I was in, and we try and figure out the problem. And then believe me, I'm not a mechanic, I don't know how to deal with it. I just pretended to be looking at it. And a lot of things configured in about 30-40 minutes at that time. And Radha Krishna was a great soul. It was a great soul. So then, we figured that, there's a very serious problem, and we're not able to take Swami's car. And then finally, Radha Krishna goes to Swami and talks something to Swami. And Radha Krishna comes and tells me, we have decided. I am taking Swami and going in the Mercedes, which was supposedly not working. And you, Swami insists that your car comes with the bus because the carts are very steep in Uti, and Swami is worried about the boys. So he said, you be with the bus in case they need your help. And I'm taking Swami and going. So I said, I can't allow you to take Swami in a car that's not working. I mean, alone. It's dangerous. It's not proper. It says this is this command. Side on, and that was it. Anyway, we took Swami and went off. And what we figured was there's a problem with the fuel pump, and there's no fuel probably going to the engine and things like that. Anyway, we reached Ooty, and they reached, and he goes fast, and he reaches and fast, and we reach half an hour, 45 minutes after him. And when we reach Ooty, the first thing Swami comes, and he walked in, and Swami is looking at me in the corridor and saying, see his faith. He's talking about Radha Krishna. He brought me to Puttaparthi by just saying Sai Ram, Sai Ram, Sai Ram. The fact is, not a drop of petrol reached the engine from the foothills of Ooty till Ooty, and the car worked only on the words of Sai Ram. That was his faith. And that time, Swami is telling me, see his faith. See his faith. He brought me here alone only on his faith. And when they reached the foyer of the house in Ooty, he did not have to put the engine off. He just stopped saying Sai Ram, and the car stopped. And the fuel pump had to come from Germany for 30 days, and that car did not work for 30 days after that. And then I got down the bus, that's how we went in the other car. But that was the story of, I think another lesson that with faith, anything is possible. Anything. And that was I think another lesson that Swami really gave to me, that just have faith. If anything on earth is possible, we just have faith in you. There was a time again in the country where Swami took you very close, and you were spending a lot of time, 4 or 5 boys, and he would call you and just be very playful and easy with you. So, he would come out and look at you, and there were 4 or 5 of us, and he didn't have to even signal with his eye, go in. We go inside and sit. So we go into his room, and there was a kitchen on the left and a interview room further down. So we become quite relaxed with Swami. So we went into his room and we waited for him to give darshan and come back. While we were doing that, I said, okay, come on, let's go to the kitchen and eat. So we went in, and there were 2 cooks, Subhavaya and Vishnu Bhatt, and we went in and asked, what's there to eat? Some pakoras and this and that, whatever. We nicely ate. Then Swami went, gave darshan, and came. And we saw, oh, Swami's coming. Okay, so now straighten up, in your mouth, pretend you've not done anything, and wait. And then, with his 5 of us, right? Swami walks into the room and looks at us and says, have you eaten? With Swami, either you stay silent, or you speak that word, or say, Swami, you know everything. If you say anything else, you're dead. So the other guy, I was the one who said, let's do it. I said, yes, Swami, we ate. He says, wait. And we thought, okay, now this is the end of our 4 days with Swami, and we're finished. Guess what happens after that? Swami comes out of the kitchen with a jug of water in one hand and 5 glasses in the other. He says, you ate, you must be thirsty, you did not drink water. And he pours one by one, gives us water one by one, and we drink that water. He says, now how are you? Very happy. It's okay, now Kuchundi, you can sit. And then we'll sit. And normally we have an understanding between us that 2 of us would sit on 2 edges of Swami below his feet. So we try to keep Swami's feet on our thighs and do Pak Seva for whatever time it was. And we sit and talk and talk and talk. And it were those moments were so beautiful when you just think of it. But those were the liberties, that was the love that he just kept showering on you all the time. I'll come to one more aspect of this love in this relationship. Swami was just like the gopis as he related to us, just like the gopis as he related to us. So, I don't know if you remember Trai Vrindavan, and every evening when he was in Trai Vrindavan, he'd have a session with the boys. It was just like an interview. Swami would sit on the jhula, there'd be 150 boys, few VIPs and the staff sitting, and He'd talk for an hour and a half, 2 hours, continuously. That session would go on. So, I remember even after I passed out, Swami gave me the privilege to be part of those with the boys who come in. And then as we sat one day, and you know what also happened is that Swami would come out on Friday in the evening, about 4 o'clock or whatever, and just one signal of the eye, just as the eyeball would move 4 mm, and 150 boys would get up and run like, you know, like deers have seen a lion or tiger or something. It was unbelievable. Every day, 3 or 4 pots would break. There were pots lying on the side. Because everybody is running, someone's shirt is torn, pant is torn, 3 or 4 pots are broken, someone's bleeding a little bit. And when Swami's chair is here, you slide it like a cricketer slide at the boundary and go and get that front position so you could have the chance to do Swami's partner stuff. And one of those days when I was there, and I was fortunate because even after I passed out, I would go quite often, and I would go and sit in the third or fourth row. I went to the first row, and the old boy sitting in the first row would make it difficult, so I would sit in the third. So one of the elder devotees said, Swami, these boys are very indisciplined. Look at the way they are breaking pots all the time, they are tearing their clothes, they are doing this. And Swami looks at the boys and he says, listen boys, see what he's saying. You must be careful, you cannot do this, that. And all the boys are sorry. And Swami looks up to that devotee and says, Panjabi, you don't know the love between the boys and me. This is a different love. They do not know their body, they do not understand anything, they just can see Swami. And they lose body conscious and they run, they won't be close to you. You will not understand that love. That relationship was what you could just see go on and on as we went through this whole thing. There were also times when he gave you glimpses of divinity, all this play and fun and always looking around, he cracked jokes and stuff, and then suddenly he will show you that he is Mahavishnu, or he is the Lord of Lords, he is the Avatara that's come down. So I'll give a couple of points. Once he was out giving darshan, then as he was giving darshan, he stopped at a point between the ladies and gents, and he held his robe up 3 inches and kept looking like this at everybody. It was normal that he'd do this. He came back to the men's side, gents side, and said, asked one of the VIPs, you know what I was doing there when I was waiting? So the gentleman said, yeah, you were giving darshan, everybody will see you. He says, no. The Sapta Rishis were taking namaskar. That was that was one when you realize we, at the human level, not the only one waiting to yearn to be close to him. All the beings in different forms and different levels are yearning to be close to the avatar. Another point was, I think this was around Diwali 1990, somewhere there where he calls me. He comes out of the interview where he calls me and he points to Purnachandra Hall and he says something. I didn't understand. Okay, I don't know what he said, I didn't understand. All I heard was Purnachandra Hall, go, and then something. I didn't know what to do. So when I went to Purnachandra Hall, I said, maybe the answer was there. I can't wait here. Get really angry. So I ran there, and as luck, he sent me more boys there. We go there and we ask, Swami sent us, just for what? Something, I don't know, so the word seat came up. Okay, seat. So we figured there's a Seshanag seat made of silver with a 7-headed serpent coming out of it. That a devotee has given Swami. Swami wants us to bring it to the main mandir at that time. So we carried the seat, very heavy, carried the seat and the head separately and brought it and kept it in the interview. And then Swami came, he inspected it, he saw all of us standing. There must be 8-9 boys standing there. And then he went and sat on the seat and he went And he sat like this with a blissful smile. I still remember his eyes were open, his hand was on he was the Mahavtara with the Seshanag sitting on the seat, gone. He was gone for 10 minutes or 15 minutes. He was not there. His eyes was open, that blissful smile was there. He was still as a rock. He didn't move an inch. We didn't have the guts to remove our cameras, to take photos. We just were. That sight was something else. He was not there. And after 10 or 15 minutes, he shakes, comes out of it, and he looks at all of us, and asks, "What are you doing here?" Like, I mean, sort of, he didn't say, "What are you doing here?" They say, "Oh, okay." But he was so blissful and calm. This felt like, okay, he is God, descended on earth, come down to spend time with us. There are times that he wants to give us a glimpse of that, and he brought us back to saying, okay, now he gave us namaskar and go. But it was very, very different experience that we had. Now I'll come to the point where I talk about, leaving Bhakti. This was 1991. And there was that previous 6 months he'd taken us to Uti, Kodai, given us some very, very wonderful experiences. And it was very tough time. So we were 5 or 6 of us. We'd have morning darshan till 11 o'clock. We'd play badminton for an hour. Then we'd have lunch, rest. And then Swami would call us in the afternoon for a bit. And then evening session again. We were just living a perfect life, spending 7-8 hours with Swami. And till one morning he says, "You have to go." He tells all of us. Now the other 4 boys have decided that they were staying for a thing, but he looks at me, and I knew that for me it was what Swami, you say, I do it. I'm not negotiating, I'm not arguing, I'm not bargaining. What you say is your word. I'm going to just follow it blindly. And I started falling down when he came, he lifted me up, and he says, "You have to go tomorrow." Only a few words came out of my mouth saying, "Swami, talk to me." He said, "I will talk to you tomorrow." That day, it was difficult, the most difficult day of my life for me, but I didn't eat anything, I was just lost. And then Swami's next day he called, he spoke to me a lot. But he gave you a lot of assurances, like the one thing he said, "Listen, you must go." This was 9th of June 1991 when they said 10th of June he spoke alone. He says, "You must keep coming back." I said, "That is not my responsibility, that is your responsibility." He says, "Yes, I will bring you back." And remember, he said 20,000 horses cannot bring you to Bhakti unless I will it. In those 20 years, between 1991, I left the college and he left his body, I went to Bhakti 200 times. That was the power of Sai saying, "I will bring you back." His word was so powerful that he brought you back. Now I'll give you, there were a lot of other assurances, but there was that. Then there was one time when along the way he decided he's going to test you. Right? Those things always happen. So I remember this, 24th of December 91, which is just after a month after our convocation, I got a call from Bhakti saying that I have sent a letter to Swami that I'm coming on Sunday. Where am I? And it was a Sunday. I said, "I have not written any letter to Swami that I'm coming, but I'm really keen to go." That was it. So then the whole family said, "We must go." So I said, "Okay, I'm going." So I went, that night somehow I scrambled, I reached Bhakti at 6 o'clock in the morning. And that silver door darshan you saw, that silver door darshan I got over. It was Christmas morning, I had just got over. And it was about 7 o'clock. And I reached Bhakti and I waited down, I was waiting down, the door shut, everything's over. I said, "Oh my God, I missed it on Christmas." Missing silver door darshan it was so beautiful that you really felt that. And guess what? I reached there and the silver door opens again. And Swami comes out of it, and most of the devotees had gone. We were just about 40, 50 boys waiting over there. He comes out, and you saw he looks down. He looks down at everybody. He started looking down. Then he looks at me. You've come, good, you've come. And then it hit me. He said, you are coming on Sunday. Sunday is the day of the Son of God. And I reached on Christmas Day that day. Anyway, the next day he talked and he said, how are you, this, that, whatever. And then he said 5 words. Wait, next I will see. It was 26th of December 91. For the next 3-4 weeks, he didn't talk to me. I lost my job. I was there, I kept giving him letters. He didn't take the letter. I was trying to tell him, look, my job is in Bombay. I got to go back. And nothing. He would look at me. If I was telling him, he'd go the other way and whatever. So I just finally reconciled. Let me just enjoy these beautiful days with them. Just nothing. Just enjoy and don't question him. I knew my job was gone. Everything was a bit of a mess. About 3-4 weeks later, he looks at me. I was sitting over there one morning. I remember the boys would go to college, so there was nothing, there were very good boys there. So he looked at me and said, when is your holiday due? I said, how we know holiday? I've got to go to job. And this is going. Then he calls me and he says, you don't know what's happening. Everybody is very worried. I was just testing you. He said, I was just testing you to see if you wait. Everyone in Bangalore and Bombay are saying you're a bad boy, you've done this, you've done that. Nothing. So then he was very loving, and the next thing he says, go back tomorrow. I said, yes, Swami, what should I do? And he said, go back and work. I said, yes, Swami, where should I work? He says, go back to the same job. I said, same job, Swami? He says, yes, same job. I went back to the office the next morning. I reached that night. I reached the office and I went to the office and everybody is really angry with me. Saying, you disappeared for 4 weeks, who the hell do you think you are? Yeah, there were no cell phones at that time, right? So the big boss comes, the CEO of the company says, what do you want? So I said, I'm sorry. Where were you? So I said, I'm sorry, sir, emergency. What emergency? And he kept very angry. The story was, the previous day, my colleague he and me were running the same one department, quit. So there's only me left to run that department. And they fired me that day. So Swami waited to that day when this guy quit. And the boss said, so what do you want? I said, work. Okay, come back. And they all were very angry with me, but this was, Swami's tests are what I'd say, very beautiful, but some of the most wonderful moments you spend, and he'll test you there multiple times he'll test you, he'll fire you, he'll take you through some very, very difficult times as well. Another story I tell you is, we've heard in the Bhagavad Gita where Krishna says, the results are not in your hands and my hands. There are level 2, he says, even the action is not in your hands. The action is by doing. I'm the doer and the results are mine. I think Swami took me to an experience where he said the results are not in your hands. The action is not yours. The energy to do that action is also my gift. Okay, so I'll go through this pretty quickly. I was living in Singapore at that time. I lived 10 years in Singapore, and I was on a business trip to Pakistan. I felt very sick. We were going city to city, and then in Pakistan they said you have to be admitted to a hospital, and I said I'm not getting admitted to a hospital. Put me on a wheelchair and send me to Bombay. So they put me on a wheelchair, sent me to Bombay. In Bombay, all the doctors started to figure out what the problem is. There was some infection of the lung. There was a patch. I just did not have the energy to do anything. I had to just rest. So I kept resting. 3 weeks later, after resting, I said, okay, let's go back to Singapore. The kids are going to school. I'll try and start working again. I went back. All I figured was I'd go to work at 9:30, 10. By 12 o'clock, I was so tired. I was sitting 2 hours on that chair. I had to come back and sleep for 6 hours to be able to have energy to get up and have dinner. I thought, and the doctors, one of the best doctors in Bombay, just said, the cause of the disease is a mystery. He said, we don't know what to do. So We were at the end of the road and I said, this is the end of my career, this is the end of my life. And as luck would have it, this was by fair. My younger brother and his family were coming down from the US for blessings for their children, young children. And they reached, Baba was in Jitendra, Swami was in Jitendra. Then Swami sees the family, only my wife and the kids were not there. Everybody else was there, parents were there, my brothers were there. And then Swami sends a message, I will see the full family tomorrow. The full family means we're missing. So that night there was a new Air Asia flight, or Tiger Air flight. We got that flight from Singapore at 12 o'clock at night. We reached at 4 o'clock in the morning in Bangalore. We were in Vrindavan at 7 a.m. I still could not sit 2-3 hours without needing 6-8 hours to recover. I was still very unwell, with no solution to it. Went and sat there, Swami sat, did not come down from the stage, and I could feel energy and everything at that point. He sat for almost 30-40 minutes and you could feel something's happening. We got up from that and I was fine. I said, okay, let's go for breakfast, let's go here, let's go there, let's go here. I was up all night, I had not slept all night. I would need 12 hours or 14 hours of rest. I was perfectly normal from that day. And guess what happened? So, Uncle went and told Swami, Jitu's come from Singapore and the whole family is here now. Swami says, I have already seen him. I know they're there, I have already seen them. Means my job is done. Right? He just used that word, I will see the full family together there. The next day he came down, he blessed us, he gave namaskar. But he's saying, what was the message, what was the learning? The results are mine, in my hands. The action is mine, and the energy to do that action is also a gift to me. Nothing is in your hands totally. Now this is a very soft aspect. The one thing I saw with living with him and learning with him was that there was one thing he wanted from you was love. If you loved him intensely, you loved him with all your heart, everything was forgiven. And believe me, everything was sorted on another plane. You would do the right things and everything would work out. But everything was forgiven. Everything was forgiven. It didn't matter what. I'll send on the side that once we were sitting with Swami, 4 or 5 of us, and Swami tells me, go call the warden. So I said, okay. I went and called the warden. And then he tells the warden, how are things, how's the hospital, how's everything. And then the warden had complained about me to Swami, saying that this boy has been very indisciplined because you broke a few lines or you did something to get closer to Swami. And then, bolo, complain, he kept telling the warden. One said, no Swami, nothing, Swami. And it was quite an embarrassing situation. And then he told the warden, he told the boys, listen, you have to follow the rules. They told the warden, these boys love me so much, they are not doing anything wrong. Please understand that. And that, we went through those multiple rounds of that, and we said we needed only one thing, love. And the second thing, surrender. Because it came along in different degrees. And everything was fine. And I can tell you, even to this day, it doesn't matter whether Swami is in the body or not in the body. It's just love and leave everything to him. And he takes care of you 100%. Now, how much time do we have there? Okay. There were times when he gave us some very deep lessons of life. For example, there were lessons from the Bhagavatam, from Krishna's life, from Rama's life, that he would take you on a journey on and lead you with very deep meaning. So one of the days, after going through a lot of this, I had seen so much love every day, 4, 5, 6, 7 hours with him. It got a bit too much of saying, maybe I don't deserve this. maybe it's not what I'm meant to get. So I told Swami, you're giving us so much love and attention. Please don't give us so much. 10 years from now, I won't be a student. At that time, save something up from now and give it to me afterwards. After 20 years. And you went through this phase of saying, Swami. One day, one of the days when we were there with him, he says, he starts on a story of Arjuna and Krishna. And Arjuna kept questioning Krishna, Lord, why are you doing this? Don't do this, do this. Don't do this, do this. And Krishna, he spent 40 minutes explaining what Krishna said. And as he went through that meaning, Krishna told Arjuna, I know you from eternity to eternity. You don't understand the full dimension of our relationship. You don't understand the full goal for which I am working on earth. You don't understand how you are an instrument in my hands. Do not question me, because I know everything and I am the Lord. And then after that he looks at me and he says, Bangaru, don't question me for what I'm doing. Everything I'm doing is for a purpose. Everything I'm doing is for. And he spent an hour explaining the story from Krishna and Arjuna's life to actually go through and give me the message. Don't question what I do. Just accept it and experientially go through it. Another story is, Swami would create all these beautiful, wonderful pieces from history, from Rama's life and Krishna's life. So one of the times he created the necklace, the Chudamani, which Sita gave Hanuman after the Vanvas on the convocation day. It was a pearl necklace. Each pearl was this big. This big. And Swami waves his hand, creates a Viva Puraikala. And then Swami shows it to us. And there were tooth marks of Hanuman on the pearls, on many of the pearls. And he asks us, why are these tooth marks here? He says, Hanuman was such a pure devotee, he says, if anything does not resonate, the word Rama, 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 Rama to me, it is worthless to me. So he would put the pearl to his ear and he would see it does not resonate the word Rama. He would bite it, throw it, bite it. What's interesting that day, what happened was, normally Swami creates something, he takes it with him or he sends it back. So this was in the outer room at the evening before dinner, and Swami left that Chudamani in the tray next to his seat. And in the dining hall, there was the VIPs came, there was 6 or 7 seats less, or 6 or 7 boys less were going, and that day I had to wait outside Swami and all went for dinner. And Swami had put the necklace down his neck in fun and jest to show us. When Swami went in for dinner, I took that necklace and put it on my neck. And we took photos as well. I have that photo as well. That is from 13,500 years ago. Sita's Chudamani given to Hanuman, and Hanuman bites it. You just think of the significance of it. And for us it was just, okay, Swami is our mother, she has kept it there, it's okay, I can put it on, and if he can wear it, I can also wear it, so it doesn't matter. It belongs to the family, it's all in the family. And then normally Swami would take 10-15 minutes and dinner, eat very little, and then make sure everyone's eating and make sure we have. That day came out 5 minutes and he said, where's the flower, where's the necklace? And Swami's there, he's there. And he looks at me. Did you wear it? I said, yes. and it was like, Swami, it was like black and white. No grey, no shades of grey. I would not try to hide. I would never say you know everything, nothing. He said, yes. It's okay. Take it, gone. And he sent it back to time. There was another time where he created this diamond, and I don't know how this diamond, but it was like 3 or 4 inches in diameter. The plant surface was 3 inches, this big. a story to it, but we were 5 of us in the room. As he waved and he waved it, he showed it to us by touching it. And he says, "Why are you touching the creation? That's the creator." And we said, "Wow, okay." So anyway, that was a novel thing. I still need to touch it because Swami's created it. Then he talks a story about it. Then he looks at me, and I'm standing about 3 feet, 3.5 feet from him. He says, "Do you want it?" Bit strong, you know, it's what, I don't know, whatever number it is. He says, "Do you want it?" Now, obviously, you know, on one side, Swami said, "Why do you want the creator? Why do you want the creation? You should want the creator." And the other side asks you, "Don't you want it?" So, you know, heart, you said, "Yeah, probably want it," but you can't. It's a dilemma, right? Then Swami looks at me, he says, he asked me, "Do you want it?" And he says, "Look, what you can do," and he's marketing it to me. "Look, you take it, sell it, you have so much money, you never need to work again, life will be very comfortable, it's a beautiful this, that, whatever." And I was kind of in my mind saying, "Yeah, sure, that's a good idea." And then he says, "Take it," and he throws it in. And guess what? It goes 1 foot in the air. God. It disappeared in there. But those were the, you know, the fun and games and playful times that you had with them. And it was just a journey where he brought you very close to him. You know, after leaving Swami, it's been a very interesting journey. Like I said, he said, "I will bring you." I said, "Swami, you have to bring me back." He said, "I will bring you back." Now the first time, I'm going to relate that incident, but the first time I came back, you know, I got a job letter, and first thing I did was, I'd been away from him for 8 weeks. Being away from him for 8 weeks, after spending 8 hours a day with him, was the most painful 8 weeks of your life. But you came, and then I took the train to Dharmakshetra, took a bus, whatever, reached Kotti, and when Swami is standing, you can't walk in. You can't walk. In those days, it was fatal. So I waited and stood near the pit behind the pillar. So Swami doesn't see you. And when he turns, you walk in. So then, Swami was standing right at that pillar at the edge, which faces the gate to West Prashanti. Right? Then finally I showed myself, and Swami nods, "Come." I ran to him. And you've really been missing it, really missing it. The first thing Swami asked, then, "You didn't miss me?" I just went down to his feet and I was sobbing at his feet and looking. Then he was telling the other devotees, like, "Oh, he missed me a lot." He says, "You didn't write any letter?" And I realized I had not written a letter to Swami for 8 weeks. And he missed the connect at the physical level. But he wanted me to use that as a connect to him at the physical level. And he blessed me profusely. But the message was, I said, "I'm going to write a letter to him every week." So every Thursday, I would go from my office in Diamond Point, I would go to the post office, send a registered letter, and the post office guy at the register ticket counter would say, "Thursday you come again, huh, sir?" I said, "Yes." And then, but the registered email letters would be kept separately, and Swami would read the letters. And the boys would tell me, "Swami, I want to see your letter." And I just calculated, I sent about 2,000 letters over 20 years. But that connect with that letter, sending the letter to Swami, was what kept you completely tuned in to what's going on. Right? Now coming to that, another topic of tuning, right? So at this point, I would say that one is love that you keep alive. The second is tuning. Swami is. So I give you a small incident that happened in Kodaikanal. We were sitting, and that morning session, Professor Samarpan, who was the Vice Chancellor of the college, he was there too. And the whole discussion was a little bit of scientific discussion on radio waves and vibrations of both at the physical level and at the spiritual level, and capturing that. And then Swami got up along the way and went into the kitchen for something, and the discussion was on. And I was asking those questions. So Sampath, Vice Chancellor Sampath, was a scientist and a DRDO, very learned and a very wonderful human being. He pulls me and starts explaining to me, look, the radio waves are there all the time, all you need to do is tune. The minute you tune, it goes into your head, the vibrations come, and it was a very scientific thing for capturing. And then Swami realized that he comes in, and Sampath didn't stop when Swami came. Sampath kept talking, right? And he's a very childlike, wonderful person. And Swami felt like, like a little kid. He came in, no one's listening to him. He wanted to participate in the discussion like a little child. And Sampath didn't stop talking, so I didn't know whether to look at Sampath. Swami and Sampath. Anyway, the message Swami gave that day was tuning to me, the vibrations. I mean, I'm kind of saying, I'm backing up those days to take a message away in the last 10, 15 years is my messages, my vibrations, my communication with you is not stopping a single day. Every single day, my messaging to you and my communication to you and my tuning with you is live. It's up to you to tune in. And if you tune in, the waves are always there. They are always there. And believe me, when Swami is not in his body, I can say this with 100% confidence that I probably don't miss him beyond the physical frame and the physical love that we experience with him. But you can feel that if you just focus and tune in and have that love in your heart, he's talking to you all the time, all the time. The mediums we're using are so many mediums, you will find that medium yourself. So I remember that discussion in May 1991, where he came in like a little child and wanted to make his points, tuning in to the frequency and hearing my message is extremely, extremely important. The other thing I would say is, as we kind of see, you do miss him at the physical level a lot. But the one line where I think about it was first you with him, now everything. First you were with him, in him. I mean, he was with you and you around you, as he said, at the physical level. Now he's with you and in you 24/7, all the time. And he never leaves you. You just need to tune in and experience that love. And I would say he's taken care of me every single day, without blinking at all. I'm going to close this talk with some words from a song by Celine Dion, which is a song, Because You Love Me. And the words were as follows. She sings, I am everything I am because you love me. For all the times you stood by me, for all the truth that you made me see, for all the joys you brought to my heart, for all the wrong that you made right, for every dream you made come true, for all the love I found in you. I'll be forever thankful, Sai. You're the one who held me up, never let me fall. You're the one who saw me through it all. I'm grateful for each day you gave me. Maybe I don't know that much, but I know this much is true. I was blessed because I was loved by you. Sai Ram. Thank you very much.